Hey guys, Dylan Boyle here, and I'm doing my own little segment for the Hold My Helmet podcast. It's just going to be me today, no Will Reichling today. This is just something I'm going to be taking on by myself, so hopefully you guys like it and we can make this a weekly thing. So how I'm going to break it down is I'm going to have four-leg parlays, one for the 1 o'clock slot, one for the 4 o'clock slot, one for the Sunday Night Football, and then one for Monday Night Football. So we'll just get right into it. So the first one I'm going to choose for the 1 o'clock slot is going to be in the Falcons and Bucks game, and it's going to be Drake London with 40-plus receiving yards. Now, it seems like Ritter has been his go-to guy has been Drake London. Last week he had 125 receiving yards against the Commanders, and those are pretty big numbers. For him to get 40 receiving yards shouldn't be hard at all. The week before that he had 78 yards against Houston Texans, so I can definitely see him getting 40 yards against the Buccaneers. Their secondary isn't that good, so 40 yards, he should have that in the first half. So my next pick is with the same game, the Falcons and Bucks, and it's going to be Bijan Robinson with 24.5 receiving yards. He's hit this 5 out of the last 6 games, and he's just been one of the better receiving backs I've seen in the league so far. So I can definitely see them moving forward with him more of a receiving back. I mean, he's had too many filthy one-handed grabs, and you just got to keep feeding him at that point. He's a great check down guy, so I can definitely see them hitting 25 plus receiving yards. So the next pick I'm going to choose is in the Commanders and Giants game. It's going to be Saquon Barkley with 60-plus rushing yards. Now, in this situation, you just know that they're just going to keep on using Barkley, and it's shown because the games that he hasn't played, they have not been productive at all. Passing the ball, running the ball, whatever it is, they need Saquon to get themselves going. And if they don't use Saquon in this situation, I can't see them winning this game. Last week he came back. It was his first week back, and he had 92 rushing yards. So I can't see them not continuing to use him. So my next pick is going to be in the Raiders and Bears game. It's going to be Josh Jacobs with 60-plus rushing yards. Now, Josh Jacobs started off a little slow in the beginning of the season. I think in the second game he had negative yards. But in a situation like this where you have Jimmy G out and you have this guy Brian Hoyer in, you're going to have to get the running game going and start running the ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done with Brian Hoyer, but either way, they're going to be using Josh Jacobs a lot this game, so I think he's going to be having himself a game this game. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, my first pick is going to be out of the Chargers and Chiefs game. It's going to be Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. Now, this one's pretty easy. Travis Kelce is kind of Mahomes' go-to, and you know who's going to be there, right? That's right, Taylor Swift, and that's kind of like his good luck charm. So if he doesn't get a touchdown here, I don't think he's going to be scoring anywhere else. But Travis Kelce anytime touchdown should be a no-brainer here. The Chargers have one of the worst secondaries in the league, so they're definitely going to be utilizing him in the air. So that shouldn't be too hard at all. My next pick is going to be with the Steelers and Rams game. It's going to be Matthew Stafford with 250 passing yards. Now, yes, the Steelers have a good defense, but their secondary isn't really that good at all. I think they're ranked the 25th against the pass. So I think Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to have themselves a day on against this team. 250 shouldn't be hard for Stafford. So the next pick I have is going to be in the Cardinals and Seahawks game, and it's going to be Tyler Lockett with 60-plus receiving yards. Now, Tyler Lockett only hit this one time this year, but the only reason why I think this is going to hit is because Metcalf is coming into this game injured, and he's coming in with a rib injury and is listed as questionable. So I could really see them favoring Tyler Lockett more in this situation. So even if he plays or if he doesn't, I think they're going to be favoring Lockett. So I think he's going to hit 60 yards, no problem. My next pick is going to be in the Packers and Broncos game, and it's going to be with Javonte Williams with 40-plus rushing yards. Now, this one's a no-brainer. He hit this 4 out of the 5 last games he played, and the other game that he didn't hit in, he went off in an injury, so ultimately in every game that he played fully, he hit this. They're facing the Packers defense, which is 26 against the rush. I see no problem with them hitting 40 with Javonte Williams. That one should be very easy to hit. Moving on to the Sunday night game, we got Dolphins at Eagles, and the first pick for this is Tua with 2+ passing touchdowns. The Eagles are ranked one of the best teams against the run, so I just know they're going to be putting the ball in the air, and they're probably going to be using Waddle a lot and Hill a lot, and I could see them each getting a touchdown here. My next pick is going to be A.J. Brown, 80+ receiving yards. Now, A.J. Brown has had himself a year so far. He's had 4 consecutive games where he had 100+ receiving yards, and I don't think it stops here either. You know, the Miami defense, their secondary is a little shaky. They've let up a lot of points, a lot of yards, and I think he's going to be having himself a game against the Dolphins. My next pick is Dallas Goedert with 40+ receiving yards. You know, Dallas Goedert has always been Jalen Hurts' safe net, but he's kind of been seeing a lack of production in the beginning of the season. But it's kind of been a turnaround this last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think it's going to stay like that. Especially, it's like I said before, against a shaky Dolphins defense. So I think we're going to see a lot of Dallas Goedert in this game. He gets a lot of receptions, so I think it'll continue. So my next pick for this game is going to be Jalen Hurts with 40+ rushing yards. Now the Eagles are going to have to use everything they have in this game against a Dolphins team that has so many weapons and they can score so many ways. So the Eagles are going to have to match that as well. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to be using his legs a lot for this game. Moving on to the Monday night game, we got 49ers at Vikings. And the first pick I'm going here is the 49ers -6.5. After coming off to a really bad loss against the Browns where they had some people injured, but it doesn't really matter. You come into this game with the reputation of being one of the best teams in the leagues, and you lose to the Browns against a backup. It's pretty embarrassing. So they're gonna come in this game with something to prove, and you know they're gonna want to blow this team out. This is a team that they can blow out, and so this might be a game where in the beginning of the half, like the 49ers are known for blowing out teams in the second half. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. The Vikings are going to stay in this game in the first half, and they're going to get blown out in the second half. So my next pick is going to be Brandon Ayuk with 60+ receiving yards. This one's pretty easy. Now Debo is out for sure. And you got a McCaffrey that's kind of injured, so they're probably not going to be using him too much on the run game. And Brandon Ayuk has always been that guy. Even with everyone healthy, he's had 2 games with over 100 receiving yards with everyone healthy. So that kind of says it all right there. Brandon Ayuk sticks out, and I think he's going to be the go-to here. It's going to be him and Kittle, but I think Brandon Ayuk is going to get more of the touches. My next pick I have is Brock Purdy with 225+ passing yards. Now, I think, I don't know if McCaffrey's playing or not, but if he doesn't play this game, then they're going to have to get the ball going somehow. And they're most likely going to be putting in the air at that point. So I can definitely see them hitting over 250 at that point. But even with McCaffrey injured, they're probably going to be using all their other targets, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and getting it going that way. So this is a game where they're probably going to be scoring a lot as well. They're probably going to want to blow this team out after last week. So 225 passing, I think they can hit that. Last pick I have is Alexander Mattison under 45.5 rushing yards. Now Alexander Mattison went under this 4 out of this last 6 games, and now he goes up against one of the best defenses in the league. They're 5th ranked against the rush, so I think this one's a no-brainer too. I don't think he hits this. He's not going to be having much of a role in this game at all. Even though Justin Jefferson's out, he's not going to be making too much of a difference in this game either way. So just to go over everything I got, in the 1 o'clock slot, I got Drake London with 40+ receiving yards, Bijan Robinson over 24.5 receiving yards, Saquon Barkley over 60 rushing yards, Josh Jacobs over 60 rushing yards. Moving on to the 4 o'clock slot, we got anytime touchdown from Travis Kelce, Matthew Stafford, 250 plus passing yards. Tyler Lockett, 60 plus receiving yards. Javonte Williams, 40 plus rushing yards. Then in the Sunday night game with the Dolphins and Eagles, I got Tua with 2 passing touchdowns, A.J. Brown with 80 plus receiving yards, Dallas Goedert with 40 receiving yards, and Jalen Hurts with 40 rushing yards. Moving on to the Monday night game with the 49ers and Vikings, I got 49ers minus 6.5. Brandon Ayuk with 60 receiving yards, Brock Purdy with 225 passing yards, and Alexander Mattison under 45.5 rushing yards. So those are all my picks for you guys. I hope you like them. I spent a lot of time and put in a lot of time on these picks. Thought about every matchup and the best picks for them. So that's me. That's what I got. If you guys want to ride some of them with me, you can. You can mix and match, do whatever you want. But I'm going to be going over all of them next week, and then I'm going to have another set for you guys as well. So tune in next week to get that, and see ya.